Hey, this is J.R. McNair with Velocity Small Business Radio. So excited today. Listen, we have had an action-packed week. I mean, from sitting down with Grammy-nominated artists to comedians to people that invest in people's companies to some, right now today, 3 amazing people that I'm excited to introduce. All right. So first off, I want to say hello to Miss Aretha Langley. Say hello.
Hello, JR. How are you?
Doing great. I like that voice. She got a good radio voice there, right? so yeah. And Mr. Howard Burkat, how you doing, my friend?
Mr. McNair, I'm doing great.
That's great. And last but not least, Mr. Kenneth Burnett.
How you doing?
Doing great. Listen, we're gonna start with you, Aretha. Now, the first time that I met you, it was at a event that we had where it was actually an event launch, and we were there. We were at a restaurant. We were talking, and then I had mentioned to you several things about the real estate market, and you were just telling me about various things in the real estate industry. And after that conversation, I said, you know what? I need to have you on the show. Okay. I want to get you on to kind of talk to you because I knew you had some things that would be able to help people. So tell everybody about yourself, what company you represent, and, you know, the things you're doing right now.
Okay. Awesome, JR. So my name is Aretha Langley. I am currently a realtor with EXIT Realty Quality Solutions, LLC. We're based out of Marietta, Georgia, right off of Whitlock Avenue, not far from downtown Marietta. And primarily I'm focusing today with first-time home buyers. I do a lot of focus on new construction, and that's really my specialty out of that office today. We just had our grand opening about a month ago.
Okay.
So, yes, I recently changed brokerages, and we just had our opening and had a lot of people turn out, the real estate commissioner as well.
Wow.
So it was a very good event. So we're very excited, looking forward to doing some really amazing things within the community of Marietta and the surrounding areas as well.
That is awesome. So, you know, we're in a global, housing crisis, and, you know, there's not a lot of, I haven't seen a ton of, real estate that's been, under, $200,000.
Right, yes.
Right?
Market value is growing.
Yes.
Definitely, it's increasing.
So tell us about that. Let's talk about that some, and really, you know, if I'm a first-time home buyer going into the market, what can I expect?
Right now, it is a seller's market. You know, it's definitely a seller's market. Demand is very high. We need more sellers putting more property on the market for the buyers out there, because currently today we're dealing with a lot of, you know, multiple offer situations, highest and best situations, because the supply is so low.
Yeah, most definitely. This is so what would be a good strategy if I'm coming into this market and I'm like, you know what, I want to get a home. What can I do to make my odds better?
Well, getting a realtor definitely is number one and key,
because,
you know, we're going to help you put together a checklist of things and items that you need to check off that list as we complete them.
Most definitely.
You know, the main thing is deciding location, because location's key and very important.
Okay.
You know, a lot of times first-time home buyers, that's their biggest, you know, roadblock, is determining, okay, where do I really want to be as far as what can I afford? You know, so getting pre-qualified, you know, getting with the right lender, but also weighing your options versus, you know, for example, Douglasville property value versus Ackworth property value. Mm-hmm. You're going to tend to see a bigger bang for your buck in Douglasville opposed to Ackworth or Kennesaw.
Sure.
You know, so really pinpointing down your location is key, and just really understanding what it is you're looking for so that you can get the best value.
Most definitely. So how did you get into this field? Where did
into real estate?
Into real estate. I mean, how did you get here? What's that story like?
It's crazy.
Okay.
You know, I after high school, you know, I went into corporate America, worked in sales, information technology for almost 10 years.
Wow.
Yes, it was corporate America, right? And then after that, ventured into the insurance field a little bit, stepped my foot into, learning, okay, how it is to be an entrepreneur, right? Determining, okay, I want the time, freedom, the flexibility. But my mother, who has been in real estate for over 20 years, she just kept pushing me, go get your license. You'll be great at it. You're awesome at sales. You're great with people. Just do it. And, I gave a little pushback for a long time, to say the least. But then, I hit a time in my life where I was like, maybe I'll just give it a shot and step out, on faith completely.
Totally.
And see if this really is for me, because I started at 16 being her assistant. So I've always had the business, in the family, and I never looked back since now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So growing up in a family of real estate, what made you so your mother, is she still practicing? And
She is.
Okay.
Now she does new construction. So.
Oh, new construction.
Yes.
Oh, wow. We have a container home business, and we're always looking at putting products and things on the market. But new construction is amazing. But now, does she live here in Atlanta?
She does.
She does?
Yeah.
Okay, great. And y'all are from Lexington?
Yes, Lexington, Kentucky. Now, she's from Louisiana.
Oh, she's from Louisiana.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
But I'm born and raised in Lexington.
Okay, that's
Yes.
great. That's great. And so now, where do you see yourself as in the future in real estate? If you look at 5 years from now, like where does Aretha go?
Oh, to being a broker, definitely.
Okay, yeah.
Yes. There's no looking back from this point, now that I've landed in something that is very comfortable, a career that's going very well, despite, today's market, the ups and downs of the market. I enjoy working with people and helping them achieve home ownership, especially the first-time home buyers, because for them, the fulfillment that you get when they get the keys to their home at the closing table, there's no feeling like that, You know that you played a role and a part in helping them achieve something that is a great investment for their future.
Yeah, totally. And let's talk about that. So what are some things that, I can do to put myself in a good position if I'm a first-time home buyer? Like, where does, like right now, I know products are different, but as far as finance products, but do I need to have a certain amount, like, already saved? Do I need to have my credit like A1, or is there any things in between?
Right. A lot of people, we get that question a lot. What do I need to do to set myself up for that purchase? Primarily the first question is, do you have a down payment? Right.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people tend to want to buy a house. They make great income. They have great jobs. Their credit is okay, but they don't have the money for the down payment. There's many programs out there that provide down payment assistance. So there's options today for first-time home buyers where if they don't necessarily have the down payment readily available or saved, but they have everything else that falls into place, then we can look at different avenues for down payment assistance. For example, Georgia has Georgia Dream program, where they provide your down payment assistance, and they have a 2% loan origination. So you're not coming to the closing table with as much money as you would be otherwise.
Sure.
There's other programs out there like USDA. That's going to be a little better than Georgia Dream just because it only has a 1% origination fee.
Oh, wow.
And they're going to be, it's more of your 100% financing. You're really coming to the table with very little money for cash to close.
Okay.
So there's things out there for people, even on the conventional side. Both of those programs are FHA because FHA tends to be what most first-time home buyers use.
Okay.
Your credit scores don't have to be as high as they would with conventional financing. So there's a lot out there. There's options. If they don't have down payment, it's really just getting their story and helping them complete that.
Wow. That is great. So right now where you are in your business, like what would be how can people, first off, before I get on to the next question, how do people get in touch with you?
Well, I'm a little bit of everywhere. So, they can find me on Facebook, Aretha Langley, Atlanta Realtor. I do have a business page set up as well as my personal page. They can also follow me on Instagram at Aretha Langley. Very simple, right? Got to keep it easy.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I also have a website. It is www.arethasells bursathomes.com. And on there, I have links to all of my social media, my LinkedIn page as well. So very simple. I live by keeping things as simple as possible. And with a famous name, it's hard for people to forget you.
Yeah, no, totally,
right?
totally. Yeah. And I see, and getting on to the famous Aretha Franklin, I see that you like to dance and sing.
Yes,
Like,
I don't really sing too much anymore.
Not as much anymore.
In the car.
In the car, okay.
Yes.
But you say you stick to dancing?
Yes, I love to dance.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love to dance myself. I'm the one at the weddings. I'm there with the sweated out shirt. 'Cause
right.
I've been on there breaking it out the whole time.
Absolutely.
So I have a couple questions for you. Number one, it doesn't have to necessarily be with real estate. It could be anything. What was one of your biggest mistakes that you've ever made, like in your life, and what's been one of your biggest wins? And this can be in relation to real estate. It can be in relation to somebody else coming into the industry. Like, just give them some things that they can learn and peel from.
Yes. My biggest mistake, I will say, was waiting so long to get into real estate, and making that decision. What I can say for people out there that are looking at making that career change or even considering a real estate career is just making the decision, to do it. Because a lot of times we sit back, we let negative people, other things come in the way, and you question yourself, like, can I do this?
That's right.
It really doesn't take any extra skill to sell a house. You're really just out there meeting people, making friends, and giving them an opportunity where you can be along their side for that guidance, for that education, and then for the, duty of protection and protecting your seller or buyer. It really doesn't, it's not rocket science. It's nothing. I mean, you got to pass the test. So that's the hardest part of it, right?
Yeah, that's right.
It's passing the test. But once you pass the test, I mean, it's simple from there.
Yeah.
Anyone can sell a house. It's really just understanding the needs for your client, filling a need and solving a problem is the main thing.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
And I would think from your angle, you really have a breadth of knowledge in a lot of different areas. So I think that helps to provide perspective with what you're doing as an agent.
Yes, it does. I mean, as agents, the important thing is to stay on top of, continuing education, certifications, being aware of what's happening in the market, what's happening in real estate, staying on top of your laws so that you can be ahead of some of the other realtors out there, and you can bring that extra value and knowledge to your client, because once you bring it to them, they know you have it and they're willing to stand by your side no matter what.
Yeah, that is awesome. Mm-hmm. So what was your biggest win? My
biggest win, within my first year, selling a home it was about $656,000.
Wow, that's amazing.
To another realtor who's been in the business for a very long time.
Oh, wow.
So, you're questioning yourself the whole time because you're like, am I doing this right?
Yeah.
Okay, am I handling everything okay?
Yeah.
How am I doing? How am I performing? Is she happy? Is she not happy? Would she change some things? But at the end of the day, we were able to get to the closing table. We closed it. We overcame every obstacle that we were addressed with. And that's my biggest win thus far in real estate,
That is amazing. Listen,
yes.
I'm so excited to see the things that you're going to do. I will say this, I'm going to say this because I was like, you have a great on-air voice, so you might want to think about doing that to accent what you're doing on the real estate side.
Absolutely. Definitely. Thank you.
No, so we appreciate it, and thanks for coming.
Absolutely. Thanks, JR.
Thank you. And now to Howard Burkat. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Man, listen, we've known each other for a while, and, this guy is a master networker. I'm talking about everywhere you see Howard, he is just out there getting it. I see him in, all these events. I mean, man, he's out there. He's in there. Everybody knows. We were actually at an event, and one of the hosts, they were like, they were saying like, so how, they was like, so who is a face that y'all see consistently? And they said Howard. So, cause but man, that's the thing. It's so very hard to be consistent with stuff. And you've been very consistent in there, and consistency with anything builds trust. And so that's good. I know that in this field, trust is so very important.
Right.
Talk about that.
Well, first of all, yeah, everybody, you'd be surprised how many people come up to me at networking events and say, if I'm not there, it's not a good event.
That's right. That's right. That's right. No, that's the truth. That is definitely the truth.
Yeah. So, and I know what you're talking about with the person saying if you're not there, and if they don't recognize that you're not there, you're not building relationships because they don't know who you are.
Yes. Yes. Tell us, what made you become a financial advisor? What was have you always done this, or how did you get to this?
Well, surprisingly enough, the interesting story is, at first, it was everything I hated.
Okay.
Quiet, introvert person, never talked to anybody or anything. But what happened was, I first moved to Chicago. Somebody invited me to a meeting.
Okay.
From there, I saw the opportunity, but it was still everything I hated.
Yeah.
But once I got started, I knew I was never going to get out of it.
Wow. That is amazing, man. So you have so a lot of who is typically your ideal client?
Well, target market is somebody who's married, own a home, have kids, employed 25 to 55. Okay. Basically middle-class Americans.
Okay, definitely. So where did you grow up at?
Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
man. A little far from home.
Oh, yeah, you are a little far from home. So do you think that in different regions of the country, people tend to invest differently?
Not necessarily invest differently, but go about their finances differently.
Okay.
And the reason is, most people, as they make more money, usually spend more than what they actually have as well.
Yeah. So how do we get people into the mindset of saving? How do we get people in the mindset? Because before they can invest their money, they have to save. What are some tips? Give us some tips.
So it starts off with discipline and mindset.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, most people don't have the mindset to be disciplined to be investing, or even look at their total financial picture. Most people think they know what they're doing until somebody shows them differently.
Yeah.
But you can't do better until you know better.
That's correct.
So unless somebody teaches you something different, and not everybody's open to something different, people just go by with what they know. That's
right. That's amazing. And I'm gonna tell you, this past weekend it was sad. So I can officiate funerals and so I didn't think that I would have to officiate a funeral. Like I just had to do one this past weekend,
right.
And it was sad. It was very sad. It was a young person, but at those anytime we go to funerals, it makes us really kind of think about life and really start thinking about how long we have and what our purpose, our mission is.
Right.
Something that I believe is extremely important. I think everybody should at least have some form of it, is life insurance.
Absolutely.
And, we see I always talk about crowdfunding, Kickstarter, Indiegogo. These were the original, big crowdfunding platforms, okay? And where people would go on and have a gadget or a widget or whatever and crowdfund. But most people that know about crowdfunding today is in most cases is not the best thing. And the biggest actually crowdfunding platform out there right now is GoFundMe.
And funerals.
Yeah, no, totally. For places like GoFundMe, people go on there and they're and it's these are simple things. Talk about that, Howard, and how important that is.
Well, one is with funerals, you never know when something's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always planning about premature stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because most people don't plan on dying. They don't know when they're going to die.
That's right.
So I use what's called income protection, which is basically life insurance for people, because you have to focus on short-term goals. What happens if somebody dies prematurely? Can that family still survive without that income coming in? So with income protection, it's about protecting people's income so that they can survive if somebody dies prematurely and still keep their same lifestyle. because anybody can go to a funeral, but imagine going to a funeral and handing a check to somebody.
That's correct.
It's definitely a different feeling. You're also changing people's lives with that.
Totally. So we've talked about people saving. We've talked about people having life insurance. How do we talk about debt? Because that's, if we look at the amount of debt that we have as a nation, right. we look at the amount of debt that each of us carry around. Student loan debt is like, oh my goodness.
That's the biggest issue now.
It is, man, and you can't, and most of us don't realize if you ever go bankrupt, you can't get rid of student loan debt in a bankruptcy. And it is something that typically will a lot of times follow people to the grave.
Right.
And
it is.
Yeah, how do we go about eliminating debt?
So the thing is, years ago, when our parents were growing up, they paid for everything with cash.
Sure.
Then the next step was credit cards. Mm-hmm. And like you said, today, biggest thing is student loans. Mm-hmm. So it's all about planning for things. Most people today are in the instant gratification, buy now, pay later. Mm-hmm. But for most people, if you wait 90 days and decide if you really need that, most people don't need what they spend their money on.
That's right.
But on the other hand, on the debt side, there's something that's called debt stacking. Mm-hmm. So, most people try and send a little bit of extra money in on their credit cards every month. Mm-hmm. Problem is that principal doesn't go down that quick. Mm-hmm. So instead of doing that, sending a little bit extra to all the credit cards, make minimum payments to one, put all that extra money into one payment, and then pay that off. And then keep going down through all the bills, and eventually attack the car note and then the mortgage. Mm-hmm. So the other thing is, most people don't know, on a mortgage, if you send in one extra payment a year, you also get out of debt 7 to 10 years sooner.
Wow. Just one?
One payment a year.
Oh, wow.
So make 13 instead of 12.
Okay, wow. And if you make 14, it may just knock it down
even further, right?
Even further, right? So, wow, man, that is amazing. So, you you had an opportunity to serve as a veteran for us in the actual United States Air Force. Correct. Appreciate your service.
Thanks.
So when you came out of the military, what did your path? How did it lead you to where you are in financial?
Well, interesting enough, when I went into the military, I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Right out of high school, I had no intentions of going to college, so I went into military to get out of where I was. Mm-hmm. So turns out when I was in the military, I actually started going to college.
Okay. You went to King's College.
When I got out.
When you finished, because you have a degree in accounting.
Correct.
Okay.
So I did 4 years, and within that 4 years, I got basically an associate degree in the Air Force.
Okay.
Got out, went home, got my accounting degree, then moved to Chicago.
Okay.
So accounting kind of helped with financial services.
Okay.
It definitely helped with my investment license.
Okay.
Because that license to me was mostly accounting.
Yeah, numbers.
So the accounting aspect helps in financial services as well, because I can talk to business owners a little bit different than other people can, because I understand how business runs with the accounting degree.
That's because I think that it's all about perspective. And when you're dealing, most business owners, that's the thing that they don't have down right, are their finances.
Exactly.
And so, how can you tell a business owner, hey, you need to invest here, invest there, and you don't even have your balance sheet?
Yeah. I mean, most small business owners, they're passionate about what they do. Mm-hmm. They just don't understand how to run a business.
Yeah, that's correct.
But a lot of personal concepts apply to business as well.
Okay.
So most business owners think as long as they have money in the bank, they're good. And that's not always the case. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't know what to do with the money, it doesn't matter how much you have.
That's correct.
But with the principles, even for a business, you need to have basically an emergency fund, because always something's going to come up.
That's right. And insurance is not that expensive to not just have a lot of it. Like, you know,
I know.
It doesn't cost that much to. I mean, you're talking about simple things like key man insurance for individuals. Right. Like, you know, like I'm a vital person in my organization. So if something happens to me, the business, they can still go on because we have systems and everything in place. But I'm a major driver in a lot of our operations.
Right. And it would cost a lot of money to replace you.
Exactly.
So instead of having the business pay for that, you would have the life insurance pay for it.
That's correct.
Because I always tell business owners, you know, if somebody replaced you and went to a headhunter, you know, it's going to cost a lot of money. It's usually based off their annual salary. It costs $20,000, $30,000 or more. Why have the company pay for that? Why not have life insurance pay for it?
Yeah, and it's so many good ways to make that happen. What I want you to do is I would like for you to give, first off, a young family. If we have a young family that's out here and they're getting started, you know, starting a family, what would be some advice that you would give them as far as looking to get ready for, you know, setting up to make sure that when they retire, they're good? What are some tips you can give them?
Well, first of all, you want to make sure you have the income protection in place because you need to make sure the family is going to be taken care of in the short term. But long term, it's really finding out where you want to go to because it's not where you are right now. It's about where you're going to. So with that, it's finding out all their goals and dreams and then figuring out how to accomplish each one of them. So it's not just, one thing fits all. Everybody's different. So it's a matter of finding out their situation, where they're at, what they can actually afford, because everybody can't do the same thing.
That's right.
So it's sitting down and putting together a comprehensive plan. It's not just tell me your situation and I can recommend something. It's finding out the whole picture. The whole picture of it.
Yep. Most definitely. And, you know, so one of the other things that we mentioned, we talked about entrepreneurs. You know, a majority of our listeners are entrepreneurs, are aspiring entrepreneurs. What advice can you give to them, them running their companies? What should they be doing now to make sure that they're good later?
Well, biggest thing is having a plan. Because most people, like I said, they're passionate about what they do, but they're basically just winging it.
That is so true. That's so true.
So unless you have a plan, that's where it all starts.
That's correct.
Because once you have a plan, then it's just putting the execution to it. And without a plan, you're just wishing for something. Or you don't even know where you're going.
That's right. Exactly. How do people get in touch with you if they want to kind of learn more about you, learn about what you do to help people with their finances? How can they get in touch with you? I'm
on most platforms, social media platforms, just my name, Howard Burkat.
Could you spell your last name?
Sure. Burkat. I use LinkedIn quite a bit.
Okay.
Same thing, Howard Burkat. And just phone.
Can you give it the phone number?
Sure. My phone number is 312-399-4377.
Listen, you all, get your finances together. We're going into a new decade in 2020, and you need to be right, you know. So get somebody good that can take care of you, and find out and make sure your finances are tight. So we appreciate you, Howard, for all your insight, and because, you know, I was able to learn some good stuff today. I know our listeners were able to learn some good stuff. So we appreciate all your work you're doing to help people stay financially sound.
Thanks. There's more to learn, too.
More to learn. Yeah, more to learn. All day. We appreciate it. And last but not least, Mr. Kenneth Burnett. Listen, how are you doing, man?
All is well.
I'm going to tell y'all something. So I have a thing of talking to people and have a thing of when I meet people, you know, I have a thing where I kind of feel, I'm like, man, you know, that seems like somebody I should be talking to. And so we were in a Dunkin' Donuts in South Atlanta, and I was finishing up, and I was walking out the door because I was doing some paperwork, and I was walking out the door, And I saw this person over there. I mean, he was like he was making it happen. And I was like, you know what? I didn't want to walk out the door without saying something, because I said, and this is the thing. I'm going to say this to you all. If you're listening, don't ever regret not saying something to somebody, okay? Because you don't ever know who you're talking to. You don't ever know where that next opportunity or that next idea or that person may have something, or just a simple word, a simple piece of advice or whatever that can help you and guide you. And I ended up saying something to him, and we ended up having a conversation there for like an hour or two. And so, amazing person. Kenneth, say hello.
Hello, everyone.
Tell everybody what you're doing as helping people to birth their visions. It's so important to have a vision. And when I talked to you and you were expressing all of these years, I mean, you've been speaking and doing what you've been doing for like the last 10 plus years and helping visionaries, social entrepreneurs, and all of these people in these sectors get things done. Tell people about you, how you even got to being what you're doing, and then what you're doing to help transform people's lives.
Well, wanted to actually piggyback off of what you were saying here. Is I'm actually a life insurance agent, right? And doing that has helped me in what I do here as a vision coach. Because everything you were saying, you saw me, I'm just sitting and shaking my head. That's ditto. Most entrepreneurs are just passionate about what they do, and they don't have a goal. They don't exactly know where they're going. They don't have a true vision. And most people don't have a true vision. So with life insurance, I pair that with business owners, providing them key person insurance and things like that, and also going through all the steps of what is your goal? Where do you see yourself 10 years, 15 years, 20 years down the line, financially, spiritually, socially, mentally, all of those things, right? You know what I mean? So it's like I'm sitting there listening. I'm like, this is awesome. We're all saying the same thing.
So I know how to put the right people in place to make it work.
Oh yeah, because I truly believe. I want to say thank you for having me on the show, because I believe in the DDD principle, which is divinely directed daily.
Okay, I like that.
And we met in Dunkin' Donuts, right?
That's right. Yeah, with the DD. Yeah.
Just like you said, when you came over to me and then we started talking, and it's awesome to have someone who's like-minded. Yeah. So the conversations just kept going until they were ready to lock the doors and they kicked us out,
they
right?
Really did.
So same thing with what you're passionate about is entrepreneurs and business owners. I'm the same way. I started out doing business consulting, then found out the problem was not the business, but the business owner.
Yeah. That's right.
Most of them lack clarity about their vision.
That's right.
They didn't know who they were.
I just had a conversation, like literally outside, talking to somebody, and they're trying to figure out right now whether or not they're going to go and get more education. And I was like, first off, you need to figure out what is success for you. What does that look like?
Exactly. What does success? And my mission is to redefine that term success.
Okay.
Because most people think of it just monetarily, right? Come on now. We got family success. We got relationship success, spiritual success. We got to redefine that term. And my term for success is that it's holistic. That means it's actually you're financially successful and you're significant in life. Come on now. The worst thing is to be successful but insignificant. They forgot you 30 days from now, right? We've all driven by a business that's closed down. It says it's going out of business. It's a blank store, and we were like, what business was there? We don't even remember that the business was there. What business? Was it an ice cream shop? Was it a shoe store? Or a person dies, and we don't know what they did to make an impact on the world. So what I do is I help heart-centered business owners who actually want to be successful in business and be significant, do something with their business to make an impact.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And so these entrepreneurs, they're doing things that are not only impacting their bottom line, but impacting the world.
That's it. That's it, because it's all about legacy. Come on now.
That's right.
At the end of the day, I know you want your kids to look at you and say, you're their role model, and then they want to, you build a platform for them to be more successful in life, not just financially, not just in business, but also in character, integrity, also spiritually. It's legacy. Come on. At the end of the day, you want to know that your life mattered. And the best way to do that is to have a business, in my opinion, because when you're an entrepreneur, for one, you can hire people, so therefore you're impacting them. Mm-hmm. You're a leader in the community leader, right? That's what you are. You're a leader in the community. People look up to you. That's a respected profession. And we have something in common, too, because right now I'm helping my wife study for a real estate test. Oh, awesome. Because it's an awesome profession,
That's correct.
I mean, home is everything, right? I'm saying not just a house, but a home, right? Mm-hmm. So my goal is definitely to be able to help the leader to see a true clarity of their vision and make sure that I can help them design a legacy-centered business. Mm-hmm. That's what I believe it's all about, a legacy-centered business. And the best example we know is Chick-fil-A. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally. How does somebody, where do they start? Like, I mean, if somebody's saying, hey, I love what you're saying, how do I start? I mean, sometimes it can seem overwhelming when we're thinking about visions, we're thinking about dreams, goals, aspirations. Where's the starting place?
Okay, so the biggest challenge that I see, lack of clarity, lack of confidence, and lack of commitment. Mm-hmm. Those are basically the three things that I see. So lack of clarity. Well, a double-minded person is unstable in all their ways. Mm-hmm. So usually what I tell them to do is we're going to have to start with knowing who you are. Mm-hmm. When you go to a networking event, right, where you go to a lot of them, right, shake somebody's hand, they hand you their card, and what do they say? Hey, I'm John, I'm a plumber. No, you are not a plumber. That's what you do. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Let's talk about who are you, because people do business with people who they know, they like, and they trust, right?
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
So tell me a little bit about you, John. What makes you unique and stand out in the marketplace?
That's correct.
Right? So most people, I would say, that I would tell them is know who you are as a person. Mm-hmm. Why should I do business with you? Are you do you have a business of character? Right? Is on time? Are you? And we start with licensed and bonded. That doesn't mean I should still trust you in my house.
That's correct.
I mean,
yeah, that's one of the prerequisites to get the license.
Thank you.
But that's not what the competitive advantage is.
Exactly. You know. So I mean, we got to get clarity on who you are as a person. Mm-hmm. Then I would say get clarity on your what you actually are providing as a service.
Okay.
Right. Because most people in business don't even know what their real product or service is. As Michael Gerber says, McDonald's is not in the business of making hamburgers. He says they're in the real estate business. Mm-hmm. Right.
That's correct.
So it's like, what product are you actually servicing? Again, you're giving people peace of mind. That's what an insurance person does do. It gives people peace of mind. That's when you know the business that you're in, you can really brand yourself correctly, right?
That's correct.
Because marketing is one of the biggest challenges, how to differentiate yourself in the market, right?
That's right.
So, so then, we talk about confidence. Most people are just afraid to step out on their dream. I've been titled as the vision doctor, mm-hmm. because if you're pregnant with a vision, I'm going to help you birth it.
That's correct.
But the biggest problem is people don't have the confidence to step out, jump off the ledge, and fly. Mm-hmm. It's scary. It's really scary. Mm-hmm. Stepping out, being an entrepreneur, doing it. I mean, come on, you don't have the confidence. So you need someone that's on your side. So the third thing most people don't have to birth their vision is the people around them. Mm-hmm. Come on now. You tell your wife, you tell your husband, you tell your best friend, and they, you can do that. Right?
Yeah,
You don't have the right people. You don't have the right team. You say, who is it that I can count on as maybe a personal assistant, maybe a business partner, the other people that you need to help your vision go to the next level. As they say, it's good help is hard to find. It is and it isn't. You just got to know where to look, and know how to vet them correctly, So those are things I would say.
That's great, man. That's great. So how does somebody get to where they're not thinking small, to where they're thinking bigger. You know, I've talked to a lot of people all the time, and you know, a lot of times when I ask them a 5-year goal, they're smaller. How do people? How can people get out of their own way and think bigger about themselves?
That's good. Well, first you got to believe that you have a bigger creator that lives within you. Start there. You know,
Okay,
you can do it.
that's right.
If he's given you the gift, then he's made the path for you.
That's right.
Okay. So in other words, I'm saying with the mindset, it's a paradigm shift.
That's
you got to
right.
think differently. Why do we say, oh, this is a problem, this is a challenge? You're seeing it that way. That's the lens you're looking at it from. So we got to change the mindset. How are you thinking about this situation? So what the other thing I tell people to do is write a roles train. A roles train is take a piece of paper and write like it was a train. Here's the engine, and these are the other things that are the rail cars. That determines your priority. What's the thing that's the engine for your life motivating you? And if you were to tell somebody that this thing here is your engine and all the other things are second, third, and fourth, then that is the thing that will propel them and push them through any challenges that they have. Once they identify that engine, right? Nothing's going to stop a single mom who has to get to their child who's in danger. Should beat up everybody, right?
That's right.
You know, it's not about that this man is this big and that. She's like, whatever. My child is on the other side of that. I've got to get through that, push through that. So the name that I have for my business is called Grand Vision Coaching. Grand Hyatt, Grand Regency, Grand Canyon. Grand means big and in excellence. So I'm all about what you said is helping entrepreneurs to think big and do it in excellence. Do it right. If you're going to do business, do it right.
Do it right.
That's the challenge we have right now. Business owners are not doing it right. You know, we the first thing we do is we go and Google them, Facebook them, because we're trying to see if that person is operating in integrity. And we know that we're in a culture right now where CEOs and top leaders and even athletes, character is knocking them down.
That's correct.
Multi-millionaires, billionaires, their character is knocking down their legacy. And that's the thing where we got to think big. We have to think not just big in size and scope. We got to think in excellence as well. You got to do business right. Treat your people right. Treat your internal customers right. Your external customers right. Your suppliers. You've got to treat people right, or no matter how big you get, one bad press, one bad tweet, your business can die overnight, right? So,
That's correct.
So it's big and in excellence. Is what I believe.
I just had a conversation, and Ms. Dance, she's a comedian, but she just talked about, she said, listen, you know, she has people in her profession all the time that are like, hey, I'm going to do this for the gram. And she's like, hey, you know, I want to have kids one day. I don't want my kids to be like, hey, Mom, is this you? You know, once again, legacy. I think that's extremely important. So you have this knowledge and this wisdom in the area of vision. How did it come about? How did you get here? I mean, what in your life brought you to the point where you said, you know, I'm going to do this? Like, is there's some specific things that happened, good, bad in between? Like, what brought you to the point of saying, I want to focus on helping other people to make a change and to help people?
Right. I was there, corporate America. Corporate America pushed a lot of people into following their dreams, you know. Got downsized. It came to me at 3 o'clock. I worked a 9 to 5. Came to me at 3 o'clock. Said, hey, it's time to go. Pack your bags. You know, put it in a box. Me and several other people. I wasn't the only one. You know, I'm like, but you knew at 9 o'clock. You know?
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? It's time for me to actually stop making somebody else's dreams a reality. Because I had to go through this process myself, going through the clarity of what do I want my life to look like 5-10 years down the line and all of that, going through this process of getting the confidence to go out and do it, going through the commitment, the stopping and the starting. I did the stopping and the starting, and anything that loses momentum, you got to
keep starting
again, So those are the things I had to go through myself. And I know the frustration that entrepreneurs feel, or pre-entrepreneurs, or even those who have a big dream. They have a level of success, but they have something else bigger in them they want to do. Because that's what visionaries are. Visionaries, right. There's always something else.
That's right.
It's like, okay, now, Tesla, great. Now Elon Musk want to go SpaceX and go to the moon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's always something else. So I had a lot of vision, a lot of dreams in me, and I was tired of making somebody else's vision a reality. Got frustrated with that. So then people started coming to me, and as people started coming to me, like I said, I started as a business consultant. Help me start my business. Because I'm a starter. I can start something like that. And I'm a paradigm shifter. So if somebody comes with something, by the time they finish talking to me, they're going to be thinking differently. So then I realized, okay, it's not the business. The problem is not the business. I like working with people. People run business. A business cannot go any higher than its leader. So the leader who lacks confidence is hindering his business or her business, right? The leader that is fearful of being innovative is hindering the business. So I had to go through all these things myself.
That's right.
And when I'm getting coaches, of course, because you got to have somebody push you, So I've paid for coaching and all that, got certifications, and I've done all the leadership training and all that. And you just realize that this is what I'm passionate about, at the end of the day.
That's awesome. So once somebody said, okay, they have this vision, then how do they get the traction and keep the momentum going?
Definitely. Which that goes back to commitment, staying committed to your business. And I'll say that most times when a person is not committed, they don't have a big enough why. We've all heard the why.
Okay.
You don't have a big enough why. So what I tell people is, first you got to identify the real why. And usually you have to ask a person 7 times to get a real answer is what they say, right? How you doing? Not good. How you really doing? I'm okay. Right? So the same thing with the why. Well, what's your why? It's for my family. What's your real why? Well, it's for my kids, What's the real why? You get to it, and once you get it, you will see the person's eyes light up, and they'll stay so committed to it. For instance, kinesiology. That is what the lie detector is basically based off of, right? A person cannot lie to themselves, right? To thine own self be true. Kinesiology proves you can't lie to yourself, or you can, but your body shows it, right? So if a person were to, so what I do is I say a word, say the word, person say I love ice cream, and the person may lactose intolerant, may hate ice cream, but it won't register really with their body that they're saying something. So when a person gets to their true why, it registers in everything. Just like when a person is talking about real estate, you see it all over your body, your face, everything lights up. You're passionate about it. I mean, we could all sit here and tell, okay, she loves real estate, right? So the same thing when a person really gets to their why, if they're so passionate about it, and that will keep them committed to their vision.
That's great. That's great. Get to the why, and you'll stay committed. Okay, how do people, if they want to work with Kenneth, how do they get in touch with you?
KennethAllenBurnett.com. Keep it simple, right?
Yeah.
Totally. Right? Keep it simple. KennethAllenBurnett.com is the website.
Allen is spelled
ALAN.
Okay,
yes, because I know there's different spellings, right?
Okay.
Burnett, BURNETT.
Okay.
You can find me on Facebook. I'm on.
Is it the same? Kenneth Allen Burnett.
Yeah.
Okay.
Find me on Instagram. Yeah, I'm out there.
Okay, that's amazing. So I'm going to ask you the same 2 questions in closing that I asked Aretha.
Well, I wanted to also tell you, got a new book coming out.
Okay, let me see. Let me check it out. The next day principle.
Okay. It can be ordered for pre-copy.
Okay.
Pre-order because that's my second book, and I'm still in the editing, so that should be finished hopefully for the end of the year, so people have it as a Christmas gift. It's the next day principle.
Okay, I like that.
So you go on the website and you can see about it, and
that's amazing. Yeah, y'all go check this out. It looks really good. I'm gonna get me a copy of this. How do people? What's your biggest either life, business mistake, and then what's your biggest win?
Okay. My biggest.
You can say it in any order, either the
win. Yeah, I was trying
to
think which
order. However you want to.
Okay, I'll say the loss first and end on the win. Biggest loss was when I went through losing everything. Wife, she moved away with the kids. The job, lost the job, was homeless. Just everything hit rock bottom. And I had to dig down deep and find the resiliency to stay committed to my dreams. Because everybody basically just looks on and waits and sees what you're going to do.
What you're going to do next.
Yeah. It's like, is he going to fall? Is he going to get back up? You know what I mean? Like when we met, you said one of your favorite sayings is everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face, right?
Yeah,
Mike Tyson
that's
saying,
right.
that's his quote, right?
That is correct.
Everybody's got a plan. But yeah, so I had a plan. Then I got punched in the face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I got knocked down.
Yeah.
I had to get back up.
That's correct.
And thank God I got back up. My biggest win, I got remarried and kids. Everything's back. I got a home twice the size. Life is great. Clients had dropped, not because of that, because, they didn't know anything personally or anything, what I mean? Because most, you can put on a suit and tie, go to a network event, nobody knows anything, right. That you was sleeping in the parking lot, right?
That's right.
So it was just the fact that the clients, it just seemed like they just called each other or something and was dropping off. I was like, what's going on? So they all dropping off, my clients. So that you start doubting yourself, your self-confidence goes, is it me? What's going on? Everything, it seemed like it folded. But God has a plan.
That's right.
All right. So that book is about documenting people who have gone from their lowest point to their highest point in 24 hours.
Wow. So that's kind of like showing what you were saying, just like your story.
That's what it is.
I told. So the reason why people need to go and read this book is because you are not just saying it, but you lived it.
Right.
And you are the product of your own words.
Right.
So that's powerful.
Yes. and that's not an autobiography about me. I'm not in it. It's not, but it's documenting people who have gone from here to there in 24 hours.
But what better way to show a person that's actually done it himself?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's not me doing it. I'll take credit. It's the book is about you position yourself for God to catapult you.
Wow. I like
accelerated elevation by you positioning yourself in the right place, and then God does the work.
Okay.
That's what it is. Can't take the credit because, at the end of the day, we all can have a plan, and what God laughs, right?
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
So that is what the next day principle about is, to show you how to position yourself for success, for accelerated and elevated success.
And we all need it. Just like all these successful people I was on with today, Aretha, Howard, Kenneth, thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
And I am J.R. McNair here with Demetrius. We're in the house, and take us on out, Demetrius. Velocity Radio. Till the next time.